What up, everybody? It's your boy OldManSim here, back with some more fire content and heels on the big, huge, ginormous gaming news yesterday of E3 being canceled. Wow. Like, I remember growing up, E3 was a staple. That was a bucket list thing of mine. And it looks like it's probably not going to happen anymore. So what we're going to do is we're going to watch this video from YongYea. I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong. On E3 2023 being officially canceled, and it's being dead and gone because most likely it looks like Summer Game Fest is taking over. But yeah, before we get into it, I do stream over on Twitch 5 days a week. I do all kinds of content. I react to videos like I am right now. I listen to music. I play a hell of a lot of Destiny. I used to play a lot of Tarkov. I play all the horror games, retro games. You name it, I probably played it or have played it. I'm an 80s baby, but the 90s raised me. Come over there and hang out, talk, have a conversation. Tell me you came from the YouTube side. Tell me you came from Twitter. Just tell me where you came from. Say hello. Hang out. Also, since you're here, you might as well hit that subscribe button. Sorry, it's hard to talk sometimes. Words are hard. Hit the subscribe button below. Hit the thumbs up, like, leave a comment. I do respond to every comment, no matter what they are. Your voice does matter. Tell me if you want to see more content like this, what you want to talk about, what video you want me to react to next, what kind of gameplay you want to see. Do you want to see other kinds of content? Leave an emoji. Just say something. All right, like I said, this is the E3 2023 officially canceled and dead RIP E3 video by YongYea. I am very interested in his opinion. I've seen some other people react to it. I have seen some of his videos before. I just don't know how to say his name. So let's see what he has to say about it.
Well, end of an era, ladies and gentlemen. Rest in peace, E3. E3 2020.
And once again, before we get too deep in it, yeah, it really is the end of an era. Like, this was the pinnacle to go. You would see all the gamers want to go there. It was like Gamers Comic-Con, basically. You would go there and you would see all your Xboxes, Sega, Nintendo, everybody. You would see everybody there, and you'd see all the game trailers, or even recently, like in the past, say 5 to 7 years, I remember me and my friends on Xbox, we would all get together and be like, oh man, E3, we can watch it on Twitch, we can watch it on here, and we watch on, like, it was a big deal to see what games are coming out. Oh shit, Anthem's coming out and it's gonna suck really bad, or whatever else. That you see from there, you have wasn't it the E3 where you had the Keanu Reeves breathtaking? It's breathtaking. So I could be wrong on that one, but I believe so. But like, E3 is just so iconic to the video game industry. And yes, a lot of these companies are doing their own thing. I know Sony does their own press conference. I know Xbox does their own press conference. I know Nintendo does their own Nintendo Direct. I know a lot of these people do their own little things, and why promote other people? Why not just be on a thing where you promote yourself instead of promoting others? I understand, but I don't know, man. It's kind of an different era. But I know that Summerfest is kind of like that. You know what I mean? But this is another thing it shows you. Like, COVID changed things. Like, they started doing stuff digitally. They started doing stuff away. We found out that E3 wasn't needed as much anymore. It was kind of like just falling back on old habits. But it's really sad. Like, it's something that I would have loved to have done. It's still an event. Hopefully it's not completely dead, but it kind of, when everybody pretty much backed out, it kind of looks like it is dead.
23 was announced back in June of 2022 in an interview with the Washington Post. ESA president and CEO 𝕃𝕀𝕊𝕂 said, "We're excited about coming back in 2023 with both a digital and an in-person event."
And that's the thing. Like, I would have loved to have gone and seen like in-person events, and it makes me think, like, I have a E3 BioShock thing behind there I found somewhere at like a pawn shop or something. I was just looking for random stuff, and it's worth a good deal of money. Like, I wonder if some of that E3 exclusive stuff is going to be worth money now. I think that's crazy. That's a total side note, but like, that was one of the coolest things. You go there and you get swag and certain exclusive things there. But
as much as we love these digital events, and as much as they reach people and we want that global reach, we also know that there is a really strong desire for people to convene, to be able to connect in person and see each other and talk about what makes games great. E3 had to cancel numerous times in the past few years because of COVID and the lockdown and all of the restrictions surrounding that. But
2020, 2021. I don't know why 2022. I guess maybe 2022 people were still, but I don't recall very many lockdown situations in 22.
2023 was prime for E3 to return.
Exactly.
Gaming is still thriving, and COVID lockdown and restrictions have been lifted. But alas, it was not meant to be, as confirmed by IGN here on March 30th, 2023, just a couple minutes ago as of the recording of this video. E3
So depending on when you watch this Thursday, it's Friday here, so yesterday, but depending on when you watch this, yeah, it's crazy.
Has been canceled. Not only did two sources confirm to IGN that the organization announced the cancellation via an email sent out to its members today, the email said that while E3 remains a beloved event and brand, the 2023 version simply did not garner the sustained interest necessary to execute it in a way that would showcase the size, strength, and impact of our industry. And
that's crazy. If you go back and look at that, did not garner the sustained interest. And like I said, that used to be like the mecca for gamers, bro. Like that was the mecca for gamers. That's where everybody wanted to go. That's where everybody wanted to show their game. That's where you're going to see the next new game coming out in 7 years from now. Like that was the thing. Like that was the thing. That's sad, man. It's Eminera.
Impact of our industry. And it's worth noting that this email does not mention that they'll be undertaking the show again in future years. Sometimes silence speaks loud, and the fact that they're not even mentioning the prospect of an E3 2024 may indicate that.
Side note, I love his Goomba in the back. And is that the baby thing from Death Stranding? If so, that's pretty funny.
This is the final nail in the coffin for E3 as a whole.
Never mind, you can't see it. It's behind my camera.
I cannot imagine E3 coming back from this. Here's an official statement that the ESA issued from Kyle Marsden-Kish, Global VP of Gaming at ReedPop, confirming officially that E3 2023 has been canceled, stating, "This was a difficult decision because of all the effort we and our partners put toward making this event happen, but we had to do what's right for the industry and what's right for E3. We appreciate and understand that interested companies wouldn't have playable demos ready and that resourcing challenges made being at E3 this summer an obstacle they couldn't overcome. For those who did commit to E3 2023, we're sorry we can't put on the showcase you deserve and that you've come to expect from ReedPop's event experiences." While it's true that certain companies like Nintendo backed out because they didn't have enough.
Hold on. But it said right there, the press release adds that ReedPop and ESA will continue on future E3 events because he didn't mention that part, but maybe he's going to get back to it. But so they are going to continue working on future E3 events, which is cool, but I just don't know if it's going to really happen.
Experiences. While it's true that certain companies like Nintendo backed out because they didn't have enough content to show, there are plenty of other companies who would have been willing to participate if communication was better, if they had some idea as to what was going on with this year's E3, if they weren't just confused about the state of E3. I'll elaborate further in a bit, but for now, let's take a look at.
Yeah, that's a big thing that I was reading too in different areas, that there's a lot of confusion. I love that shirt, by the way, sweatshirt. But yeah. And when Xbox, Nintendo, and Sony won't be part of E3, it's who's else is going to be there?
What exactly happened? Things really began to go downhill when on February 2023, IGN reported information that they had heard from multiple sources that Xbox, Sony, and Nintendo won't be a part of E3 2023 or have a presence on the Los Angeles Convention Center show floor.
But they all have their own little trade show now, so it's understandable.
Talking about E3's biggest attractions, all three of them were meant to be absent at this year's event.
And I mean, why wouldn't you have an all-exclusive Microsoft one if you could? Why share the stage with Sony, your biggest rival, or vice versa? It makes sense.
If it was going to take place, which we now know it isn't. Now, for some time, it did seem like E3 2023 was going to take place after all, focused more on those major third-party publishers like Ubisoft, who confirmed on February 20th, 2023, that they will be attending E3 2023, that they will be presenting at the event, only for them to do a complete U-turn on March 27th, 2023, when it was announced that Ubisoft will be backing out of E3.
Damn, that's like a month. And like a month later, they're like, no, just kidding, GG, just kidding.
E3 2023, weeks after announcing it would attend the expo. The company will instead hold its own Ubisoft Forward live event on June 12th in Los Angeles. And the real stinger is that the Ubisoft event is seemingly now a part of Summer Game Fest, which is the event that Jeff Keighley is hosting, an event that he established after he got fed up with the way E3 wasn't evolving enough and the direction that E3 was being taken in. Jeff Keighley didn't like that, and so he's like, fine, I'll do it myself.
And he's done really well with it. Like, it's a lot from everything I would understand that to get everything organized and everything. But to have big companies like Ubisoft, like, okay, well, skip E3 and go to this, that's a big deal. Like, that shows that he's really knows what he's doing. He's a big head in the gaming industry. A lot of people respect him and love him and stuff. And he does the game awards. And so, I mean, it makes sense. Like, it makes sense that games or companies, if they're going to show something, they would show something there to where like I said, there's not an issue of lack communication, and it is somebody else that's passionate about it.
Start my own event and show my vision of how these kinds of events should be done. It would seem as though companies that would have initially attended E3 are now gravitating towards Summer Game Fest. All Ubisoft had to say about this sudden U-turn is that we have made a subsequent decision to move in a different direction, which is incredibly vague and may indicate that Ubisoft just doesn't want to talk about it because they might have had a negative experience trying to organize for E3. They're now moving on to their own live-streamed event.
Yeah, see, if there's a lack of communication or something's difficult, like it's what it seems like. That's what a lot of these people have said on different companies when they just stopped working with it. It was difficult, bad communication. How to get things coordinated, figure out, all the logistics of everything. So it sucks though, man.
I guess in partnership with Summer Game Fest. Same goes for Devolver Digital, who recently on March 28th, 2023, tweeted, "No Devolver E3 parking lot this year, but we will have a fresh new Devolver Direct presentation during Summer Game Fest." Yet another company ditching E3 for Summer Game Fest. This was all before the official cancellation today, but at this point the writing was on the wall.
I mean, who were they going to have? No Ubisoft, no Xbox, no Microsoft, no Nintendo.
So when Jason Schreier tweeted the following, one consistent conversation at Game Developers Conference last week was, "Is your company going to E3? No idea. Is it actually going to happen? Who knows?" Developers across the entire industry did not seem certain whether the...
See, that's crazy that it went from being like a staple to be like, is it going to be? Like, that's crazy.
Event was going to happen, or whether their publishing company was going to E3, which seemed to indicate just a lack of proper organization and communication on the part of the ESA and ReedPop.
Because you would really think that like everybody always would be geared into it, like, oh yeah, we're going. Like, man. That's sad.
As of March 27th, with Ubisoft now having backed out of E3, the number of video game publishers currently confirmed for E3 was at 0. This was 2 months.
Wow. 0. They had nobody confirmed to go to E. Wow.
Out from when E3 2023 was supposed to take place. Usually by this point, plans are solidified, but the fact that everything was still in limbo indicated that this event was just not meant to happen, because there was no way that they were going to plan everything out in a matter of 2 months with so many publishers and developers unaware of whether E3 was even happening and seemingly with no concrete plans.
Why would you want to invest resources into something you weren't sure is even going to be there? Does it make any sense?
In terms of attending E3 and doing some kind of presentation. The writing on the wall became that much more clear when IGN reported on March 28th, 2023 that they've learned Sega and Tencent will be skipping E3 2023 as well, amid rumors that the promised triumphant return of gaming's biggest event may not happen after.
So Xbox, Nintendo, Xbox, Sony, Ubisoft, Sega, Tencent, which owns has hands in so many different games. Holy, like, there's literally nobody's gonna go.
In this article, IGN also gave us an idea for what games industry folks were saying about the prospects of E3 2023. IGN reporters have spoken with numerous individuals in publishing and PR, all of whom expressed concern about the status of this summer's event. Many told us that they hadn't heard of anyone else who was planning to attend for sure, and some said they felt there had been a significant lack of communication from the ESA and organizer ReedPop as to what exactly they should expect from the show. Several described the situation as one where everyone was waiting for someone else to be the first to jump, but no one was willing to take the leap, and time was running out. Ubisoft did come on board, and they're one of the biggest third-party publishers out there for video games.
But something had to happen to make them jump off.
That might have gotten the ball rolling until Ubisoft decided to do that 180 and depart from the show.
I don't blame them.
And after that, one knowledgeable source told IGN that after this, there's no possible way this show can happen. Ubisoft's departure was seemingly the nail in the coffin for E3 2023 specifically. And if you ask me, the cancellation of E3 2023 is the nail in the coffin for E3 as a whole. Here's additional reporting.
Unfortunately, I agree. Like Summer's Game Fest, like people can be watching that. People need, companies like Ubisoft are gonna be going to that. So like they're learning that you don't need E3 anymore, and it sucks, man. Like Jeff Keighley's thing is better. Summer Game Fest is better. Obviously, that's the reason why people are going there. It's why you're seeing presentations there. You're seeing people walk away from E3. Like it isn't what it is anymore. And that's unfortunate, man. Like I said. That was one of my bucket list things, was to go to E3 growing up. I remember always seeing it in like Electronic Gaming Monthly or different things, or different magazines, Game Pro, seeing the wonders of E3, or even when once internet became huge and everybody had internet, like I said, watching the thing on Twitch or YouTube or whatever, watching the actual conference, which it sucks you don't get to see it now, but you still get to see all that stuff, just not in the same place like you used to. Just changing the guard, man.
About the lack of communication on the part of E3 organizers. What was most striking about these conventions was the sheer confusion. Several sources told us that in the past years when E3 had taken place, they recalled already having all their plans firmly in place by this time in March, whereas this year in March, we had no concrete ideas on who is attending and who isn't. Now,
yeah, that's crazy. Like 2 months away for one of the biggest events ever, like not ever, but like every year, I should say. And no clue what's going to happen. That's crazy.
So in 2023, reads this article from IGN, multiple people broached the question of E3 with us throughout the conference, even before we asked, seemingly desperate for information that could help them make informed decisions about whether or not they should be allocating large budgets for a show floor booth and the personnel to staff it in just 2 months' time. Yeah, that's just too little time for any publisher to prepare for a major event like E3, which is why many question whether they should skip the show itself, but still...
Yeah, how they're going to get like demos ready, people to go there ready, like presentations ready. Like that's a lot to cram in 2 months.
They'll make an appearance in town to meet off-site with media who might be around that week. Just do something. While E3 plans were in limbo, Geoff Keighley's Play Days, which is a part of Summer Game Fest, it is an in-person media-only event that last year took place over 2 days in early June around the same time as E3, and which has been confirmed again for this year. That's happening again this year, and at this stage, a number of game companies have solid plans locked in for Play Days, and a few mentioned they expected more games to be present this year than last year. So
that's crazy. He's just bodying them, bro. He's got like these events working out, and the big companies coming there and showing things. Like he's got it organized. People don't want to work with this organized mess, man.
Geoff Keighley's event is growing and expanding as the Game Awards did, and I have a feeling that Summer Game Fest will eventually become the new E3. We've already seen a number of companies back out of their traditional E3 attendance to work with Summer Game Fest instead, and Geoff Keighley has adamantly expressed his desire to make an event that is more in tune with modern trends, that has a better direction than what the ESA was pursuing with E3. It looks like that might happen after all. But for now,
I mean, well, that's a new bucket list thing. If I couldn't go to E3, I'll go to whatever they're going to make their in-person thing. Summer Game Fest, but I don't know if Summer Game Fest is in person or not. Sorry about that. That was ad time over on Twitch.
Now, as Summer Game Fest continues to be in its incubation stages, the event is still currently significantly smaller than E3 has been historically, but over the years, that may very well change. I have a feeling that Summer Game Fest will become bigger and bigger every year, kind of like the Game Awards, which started out kind of whatever, and now it is the event to watch.
Yeah, the Game Awards are freaking huge now, bro.
Watch for video game awards, and it's become a major venue for video game publishers to make major announcements. Now, another major contributing factor for why game companies were more reluctant this year to take risks with in-person events had to do with budget. Keep in mind that COVID had a significant impact on...
Which is true. A lot of tech companies, and I'm sure it's happened in the game companies too. I haven't seen a whole lot, but they've been cutting back on employees like crazy because when COVID started, they needed all these employees for all these IT and digital things. But now that COVID's over with, unless people are online, unless people are stuck at home, more and more tech companies are cutting people.
On game companies, especially during lockdown periods where they had to lay off a bunch of their event teams and slash their funds.
That's true. I didn't even think about that either. Like they didn't have the event people for 2 years, so...
person event, and they're still recovering from that. And so as a result, a lot of game companies may still be in a transition period where they're trying to bring back teams that help organize events and also are still trying to watch their budget and the like. You combine that with the general uncertainty surrounding E3 and you get a situation where a lot of companies were like, this year is just not worth going to E3. On top of the lack of communication from E3 organizers that led to confusion surrounding E3, another major contributing factor to why so many companies pulled out of E3 was the fact that they're just being more conscious about their budgets. As IGN puts it here, many publishers have yet to replenish to pre-2020 levels. Even if companies wanted to come to E3 or Play Days or just LA in general, many aren't financially prepared for all the expenses that entails. If they are, they're spending that money on events that have fewer questions about their stability, such as PAX or Gamescom, which makes total sense. Why?
Right. If they only have a little bit of funds, why put it into something that you don't know if it's going to be viable or it's even going to work? Like if it's even going to be an event, like it got canceled. Like what if all these companies put all this, I'm put all this money, I'm going to do it, and then it gets canceled, and then they're screwed. They can't, put it into going to Gamescom or PAX. Which, like I said, they just had PAX East a week ago, 2 weeks ago.
I spent all this money on something like E3, which there were questions about whether it was even going to happen. Now, apparently within 𝕃𝕃𝕃, there's a sense that those involved with organizing E3 felt that they were left to shoulder the blame for the ESA's past mistakes and publishers' present-day fears. I think the cancellation of E3 2023 and the death of E3 as a whole was years coming. It's not strictly the fault of 𝕃𝕃𝕃, who took over organizing E3 this year. They were just dealt with a shitty situation that brewed for many years because of the ESA's mismanagement of E3. And unfortunately, 𝕃𝕃𝕃...
Because over the years, you started seeing companies started backing out more and more, period. So it was slowly happening as companies were taking over their own thing, or there was more with it. Like you said, whether you advertise at the Game Awards or Summerfest or PAX or Gamescom, like there's just more avenues out there.
Ops efforts weren't enough to revive E3. One last thing IGN reported on in this article is who is attending and who isn't based on the major publishers who they reached out to get any kind of confirmation. They did not get a response at the time from EA, Square Enix, Embracer Group, Activision Blizzard, Epic Games, Take-Two, and Warner Brothers Games, which is concerning enough as is. You'd think that if they had any plans to attend E3 just 2 months out before the event.
That's like 3/4 of the industry, basically. You know what I mean? Like you couldn't survive without what would the point be? You'd see a bunch of mobile games. That's about it.
Event, you'd imagine being asked that question.
Well, no, because if Tencent wasn't in there, then no, because Tencent owns most of the mobile games.
Say yes if they had solid plans to attend. The fact that they didn't even comment already said a lot. But beyond Sega and Tencent confirming that they're not going to be at E3 and Bandai Namco declining to provide an update on E3, what IGN was told by their sources is that there are a number of publishers who plan to skip E3, but they have yet to make a formal announcement. So at this point, it wasn't just the writing on the wall that was saying E3 was basically as good as dead. There was this giant neon sign that was telling us this was exactly where this road was headed. To close things off, here is Jeff Keighley's statement on all of this, somebody who's been a major influence on E3. He was the face of E3 for a while. He said, here's 15-year-old me at the first ever E3 in 1995. E3 lasted roughly 25 years before it fizzled out. E3 meant so much to me, said Jeff, and to so many of you too. 4 years ago, I realized that E3 wasn't evolving as it needed to compete in a global digital world, so we started building what's next. See at Summer Game Fest, June 8th.
And see, he was the face for the longest time. He was very much associated with E3 and the E3 coverage. That's crazy though. 95, it was 15-year-old him. He looks kind of the same. But the first ever was in 1995, so 20 years, almost 30 years.
Jeff Keighley continues to be savage about taking any opportunity to advertise Summer Game Fest anytime E3 announces something unfortunate. This time, it's a complete death. But I also don't disagree with Jeff. For years, it's felt like E3's relevance has been diminishing.
It has.
And I guess we'll see whether Jeff Keighley can take Summer Game Fest, turn it into the new E3.
I mean, I think he can. I think he's already doing it right now. Proof's in the pudding. Plus, he has his pulse on the industry.
Make it a big in-person event and turn it into something that people can celebrate and that can keep up with the times. I'm very curious to see what his future plans are for Summer Game
But Duke Nukem, though. I know I mentioned it.
And how it'll differ from the direction that E3 was taking their event, how he will evolve as it is needed to compete in a global digital world. E3. I do wish him the best in that endeavor. I do think gaming needs some kind of Super Bowl-like event akin to E3 that unifies all facets of gaming, publishers, developers, studios.
It does. It just makes it fun for everybody to get together and have fun and be silly and nerd out and see everything coming up and talk about this game and that game. It just brings excitement in the industry, period.
Players, media outlets, creators, you name it. I do have fond memories of E3, and there is a melancholy that comes with knowing that E3 is as good as dead, that the final nail in the coffin may very well have been hammered in. But if we have to break something down to build something better for the future, then I'm all for this major paradigm shift.
So sometimes you got to destroy to rebuild it.
That's about to take place for summer gaming events. Or at the very least, that's one man's take. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts and opinions are on the official cancellation of E3 2023 and what you think that means for the future of E3 as a whole. And to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on YongYea.
Oh, so it's YongYea. So it's, I said Ye, or I think it's YongYea. I don't remember. But that was a really good video. Like, he had a lot of good points and brought a lot of facts, and I agree with most of his opinions. I will leave a link to the description below, link in the description below to this video. It is really sad to see E3 go. Like I said, I remember seeing it in gaming magazines way back in the day, and then always wanted to go and always be anticipating, oh, it's E3. The E3 showcase, Nintendo's doing this day, Xbox is doing that day. And then they started getting away from that. Those companies did, and it slowly started to decline. And as you can see, there was a bunch of miscommunication and uncertainty and mishandling, mismanagement, which always seems to happen with stuff you love. But yeah, I thought it was a good video. Feel free to hit that thumbs up, like button, leave a comment below, subscribe while you're here to see more videos. Tell me what you think in the comments. Leave an emoji, leave a thumbs up, say you want to see more content like this. Say you don't think E3 is dead. Say you're not going to miss E3. Just let me know what you want to see next. And I do stream over on Twitch 5 days a week. The link will be below and also in the description. And I will see you over there. Have a good day. OldManSimReacts. Oh, he just fucking made me do a fuck. That's how I dance in real life, bro. Just like that.